Welcome back, listeners. This week is going to be our very first Outtakes special. Ever since I started this podcast, I've been collecting the bits that were perhaps not quite relevant to the episodes, or just jokes that kind of went on too long, but were still fun enough that I wanted to make sure to share them with you all eventually. This won't be every outtake, however, because given that the strike is still going strong, I want to avoid anything that involves the discussion of struck work. Once the strike is over, those will be released out into the wild, and there will be much rejoicing. But for now, enjoy these bits of wacky tangents. Welcome to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we discuss various retellings and adaptations of works in the public domain. It is a truth universally acknowledged. I am your host, Jasmine Garcia.
Do you want to take that again?
Yes. Thank you. Welcome to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we discuss various adaptations and retellings of works in the public domain. I am your host. Damn it! It is a truth universally acknowledged. I am your host, Jasmine Garcia. Welcome to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we'll explore how old tales are made new. I'll re-record that at some point.
That's fine. Take your time.
Thank you. Okay. Welcome to An Each Retelling, Old Sports, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. All right, so we are definitely not doing the usual opening for Welcome to An Each Retelling, blah, 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 but all right, welcome to our new news segment for An Each Retelling, which is still does not have a name yet. We're organized around here. The right thing this time. Welcome back to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. We are continuing our Midsummer Night's Dream discussion. I am your host, Jasmine Garcia, and feel free to introduce yourselves. Same order as before. I mean, I guess, Sam, you don't really have to introduce yourself since you're going to be...
I'm just living in the wall of IER now. Like, this is my home now.
Hannah and Grady, go ahead. It's much easier to count it down when there's just two of us, I guess. Yep. All right.
I don't know what that's called, but I'd rather not swear on the air.
It's fine. You're allowed. We're all adults here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sam. Did we exhaust you with this? I'm sorry.
No.
I keep on saying I'm going to write notes, and then I don't. Why is that? Why am I like this?
You're a busy girl.
Yeah, I think
You're
you may
being very
have done
generous.
some notes in like DM, so I'll just go through these and like see what I can find.
Happens to Lee Pace too.
Oh my god.
Oh god, that was awful.
Yeah, no, he did end up having to like get it dragged out of him, and I was like,
Oh god.
It got forced out when he was doing Angels in America on Broadway with Andrew Garfield.
Oh god, now I remember.
yeah, it's interesting that nobody gave Andrew, I'm glad they didn't, because Andrew is such a staunch ally.
I mean, they did kind of give Andrew shit about it, but also I feel like Andrew is read as being at least a little bisexual, so...
If not, he is most certainly an ally that I adore, parasocially. But yeah.
He does have sloppy bisexual energy.
He does.
But that's for another recording.
Oh god, but yeah, no, we do need to stop, like, outing actors who are playing gay roles, like, come on. But yeah.
The puppies are working.
Aww.
Oh, the barky butts are at it again.
I think they want to go outside and they can't because of the air quality.
Yeah, no, that's bad for them.
The poor puppies. Where? I have it here somewhere.
This is what ending's for. Oh gosh, I just thought of something. There is this one story that was covered by the fictional podcast. Let me look that up real quick. I should have thought of this, but I didn't until just now.
I don't know if this is, I'm sorry, spoiler free in this.
No, we spoil.
Okay.
We spoil.
I recently found out that the vampires in Anne Rice's books are like aliens from Atlantis, and I don't know how to handle that.
Colleen would have enjoyed this conversation, I'll tell you that much. She would have had words.
Josh, should I mention the uncomfortable lyrics I talked to you about earlier?
Not yet, because Grady hasn't had a word in yet.
Grady, go before I go on.
Grady, go!
Grady, go before I go on a tangent and
breakdown why Over the Love of You is actually stellar.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, no. What we're
Gatsby is one of
gonna
those
get any
books that
month
was
now is
down
like
there,
some dark
20
backstory of Tom Buchanan making him sympathetic or some shit. Ew.
If they do it, I will fight someone.
No more villain has a sad stories.
I have enough of that in my background. I don't need more sad, pathetic, broken white boys in my repertoire.
I will say, in terms of having to read this book in high school, so for us, it would have been read in like my friend read it in 11th grade because she was in like the quote unquote like the honors or normal English classes. Because I was in the AP like English track from like 9th grade, like 10th grade onward. 11th grade is AP Lang, where you have to learn like rhetoric and all of that jazz. So all the books we read that year were fucking garbage. I'm not going to get into any of them lest I start a 12-hour rant.
I read the Tales of Canterbury my senior year of high school, and my first Shakespeare play that I ever read was Julius Caesar.
My first Shakespeare was Merchant of Venice in 7th grade.
Mine was Midsummer.
I had a terrible introduction with a teacher who had no business. Jazz will tell you this.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Okay,
but maybe we should.
But yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of luck to go through.
It is interesting how people always call Nick out for following that when within a few paragraphs he does himself admit that it's actually quite hard for him not to. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, God, you are an awful person, but I relate to you, and that's uncomfortable. But that is what I feel like good literature does need to do that sometimes.
I had to create my own, it's slightly off topic, but I had to create my own Hamlet production in a college class for theater. It was like a theater introduction 101 class. We had to like create our own Hamlet production. And I just did a bunch of casting for mine. Like I was like, how many newsies can I fit into the cast of Hamlet today?
The answer is all of them.
Yes, the answer is all of them. I did do that. But then I also made it super gay and made all of my classmates uncomfortable, and it was fantastic.
LMAO.
I had to write a research paper with cited sources about the meaning of life, and if you ever want to try something difficult, do that. It was about Macbeth, too. Make it make sense.
We're not in the theater. All the world's a stage. All the world's a stage. I do not fuck with that play.
So here's something interesting, actually. I realized that because I had planned on airing the Great Gatsby 1974 episode, I do have outtakes of that. So technically, this is going to be the first time you guys hear anything from that episode, even though they never made it into the final cut. Again, I really hope the strike is over eventually.
You know what? This ended up being so much better.
It would definitely work a lot better than a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
My point exactly.
There's a what?
That
Oh, you
episode
didn't
is
know?
hidden.
You
I
didn't know? Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. They made the 100 Acre Wood a bunch of slashers.
This October,
my
people,
God.
tune in.
We will get into that. We will eventually get into that. And damn it, now I'm gonna have to make another promo thing like I did with Once Upon a Time. With the threatening music.
For the record, no, we are not doing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey this October because, number one, we're not sure if the strike is going to be over by then. Although I did look it up. Technically, it has not struck work. Dear God, save me. But fortunately, that is not what we voted on for Spooky Month. So, ha!
Being a woman barely on the edge of sand. Okay, once the siren goes again, we'll try more final thoughts in case anybody else has any.
And that's still on my end. I don't know what's going on here. I'm downtown, so.
Now that the cops are arriving to the estate of a wealthy individual who may or may not have gotten shot, does anyone have any shout-outs?
Yeah, that definitely sounds like an ice cream truck. It has that same,
Jingle.
yeah.
Okay, no, it's definitely an ice cream truck. It's just very, very loud. Like, I have never heard of an ice cream truck that loud before.
No, we have a loud ice cream trucks here too. Like, I'm on the 9th floor, and you can hear your ice cream truck jingles blaring even down the street.
Is it going down the street at this part? Is it parked outside? Or?
It's going down the street at this point. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a weird thing because like I can't even remember the last time there's been an ice cream truck on this street. We don't really have a lot of kids. I mean, no, that's not true. We do have a decent amount of kids. So do we want to wait until it's gone?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because that's getting distracting.
Yeah.
Outtakes! Run off to leave West Egg together, and oh my god, could the garage please stop interrupting? Can you please open that garage at another time? I'm trying to record!
But the musical team, it's Nathan Tyson. I read this off when I was doing my little thingy, and I didn't commit it to memory.
It's okay, because, like, yeah, we're talking a bit about it, but I might end up just having your little recording be the main.
Play the intro at least.
Yes.
Exactly.
Give me some dignity.
I will absolutely. We're playing the whole thing. That was perfect. But
Flawless, no notes.
you haven't heard it yet, Callie.
Oh.
I uploaded it to the whole thing.
Yeah,
That is true.
It's like the perfect old timey radio voice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So,
Colorblind casting versus being race conscience caching. Oh god, why can I never remember the title of this book, even though I have been working through it for a while now?
Yeah, that was like the first original bit that he wrote. It's one of the very few original bits in the script.
Which is funny because it feels like something that would fit in with it. I always find it fascinating when adapting these kinds of texts. Whatever you add in feels like it could have fit in.
I just think it's funny that he was like, oh, wait, right, original. I can do that.
That's funny.
So what I'm wondering is Florence Welch. I've never really heard anything outside her indie rock compositions. So I'm trying to imagine if she's going to try to adapt to the setting of the 1920s a little more, or if she's going to maintain her sensibilities. Because whatever else you might say about Paradise Square, they got the era they were in and they accommodated.
I mean, I feel like while yes, we definitely see it as more indie rock / pop and indie sound, like you can definitely hear there's some things that could say fit into more of a jazz standard kind of thing. I don't think
Like merge stuff to do something like electro swing. I know that's very popular.
I wonder if Postmodern Jukebox ever did a Florence and the Machine. I feel like they did.
They probably did.
Yeah.
They've been going on long enough for that, but let me see. Yeah, because if they could do it, yeah, they did Dog Days Are Over, of course they did.
Yeah.
That
That's
makes
always
sense.
the one song that everyone knows from Florence.
And now they're gonna know it even more, especially once a certain thing hits streaming that we're not gonna talk about because again, strikes.
Honestly, Jess, sometimes I think we should just like merge podcasts, like leave
There's
some
already so many crossovers.
There are crossovers. Like I'm not sure how we would combine the concepts, but I hear you.
I'm not sure we could combine the concepts. I think the 6 degrees concept might just have to, die.
I would never let you do that.
Isn't she doing the Dinwald de Handel? I can't say it. Dinwald de Handel Giant. It's a.
In the chat, I'll try to pronounce it.
Abby, I feel like we're treating you like a token if we do that.
We're trying.
We're trying. Yeah, it's just I have experience pronouncing some of those names because
Fair.
No, but literally, they had me sit through since at 13. They had me sit through so many language classes. And teaching me how to phonetically pronounce names.
Dang. Okay, that's impressive.
Okay, Shoba. Come on.
One Google search later.
I think it's Dimweld Duhenia La Giant.
Wait.
Okay.
It was at the Old Globe Theater in San Francisco.
Okay, good for her.
Shoba deserves all the work.
Yes.
Jason Derulo. Oh god, now I'm thinking about terrible stunt casting that might happen.
Oh no.
I didn't mean to start afford anything.
Well, you did. So now we must face the consequences.
Just don't speak it out into the universe.
I'm not speaking anything.
Neither am I.
As
The
tempting
bad thoughts are in my head now.
as tempting as it is to ask, you're right. We should not put that out into the universe. So, final verdict. It'll only be a matter of time before we find out which of these shows ends up winning.
2 shows go into the dome. Only one can win.
Pretty much. I mean, again, look what happened with Phantom
for
versus.
that green light, and who will be face down in a pool.
Oh my god!
That's what I said.
Yep. That's literally all I remember from it.
That was great. Okay.
Wasn't there like a boat ride or something that you could like be physically dragged onto in Moby Dick?
Oh, yes, there was. And there was also the opportunity to be on stage and working with the sperm.
Oh,
A SETI.
Dave Malloy loves his interactive theater.
He really does.
Like Grey Cobbett had it where you could be Mary's suitor and then you could be her dad's suitor.
You love it.
I think that might be a Rachel Chavkin thing more than a Dave Malloy thing, but they worked well together. They are the Sondheim and Hal Prince energy that we need in the world.
Give Dave Malloy a Tony!
Yeah, that's another reason to hate Pasek and Paul. They have Dave Malloy's Tony and Lin-Manuel Miranda's Oscar.
Yep.
And Ben Platt has Josh Groban's Tony. And Lucas Steele deserved the Tony for Best Supporting Actor. Lucas Steele deserved it for the note alone. For that one joke note.
Who actually won the Tony that year, Callie? Who won?
Exactly, we'd remember if it was Lucas.
It was Gavin Creel. It was Gavin Creel and Hello Dolly.
Nope, still standing by my assessment. I loved Gavin Creel and Into the Woods. I stand by my assessment.
It's almost like reward shows are bullshit or something. Anyway!
exactly.
Alright, I think that's good for now. This is gonna be a mess. It's headed, but oh well.
Until then, follow the green light into the pool.
Ah! No, Callie! Don't follow the green light! Don't follow the green light!
Don't do it!
You can swim at least.
Ella oh my goodness. Zelda Fitzgerald, not Ella Fitzgerald. Very different
Zelda,
Fitzgerald.
I think everything froze. Oh, okay, I got back. Everything froze for a second. Okay,
Oh dear.
I'm back.
Got literally like a team of people who are working together, digging up plays and stuff that we can play with. And
we're coming for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Afroben's fun, and we are currently discussing, at time of filming of the podcast, we're not a union shop yet, but we don't actually precisely know what union, whether we fall under SAG-AFTRA or we fall under Actors Equity.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
as a member
for
of Actors
another
Equity.
day. For another day.
I don't even think Equity would even know at this point. I think there's a lot that they are still parsing through when it comes to virtual theater.
Yeah.
So.
And
It's probably easier to stand back until they figure it out, frankly.
Yeah. And
honestly,
the reason that it's a problem, and we also are talking to folks at the WGA right now as well, because we were going to be doing a brand new play that was still being written, but our writer may want to join WGA at some point. We don't want to block that for him.
Right.
And so we may not have a full play this year if it is determined that to be in keeping with people wanting to be union eligible in the future, we want to protect our actors, we want to protect our writer and director, and so we may be doing something else if it's like you're okay to do a show but we can't do a new show right now, even though he's going to own the license. He and his wife are going to own the licensing on it. They're going to rent it to us basically, or we may not do a show in the fall until the strike is over.
Well, you could still the thing is about theater is that you can produce theater whether you're in a theater union or not.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like a new work. I would err on the side of you probably being okay, but
Yeah,
for sure.
The thing is, we just want to check, especially because we are certainly not influencers by any definition of the word, But since SAG has added some ways to join the union as an online creator, we want to make sure that we don't fall under their auspices, because while technically Worlds Elsewhere as a theater would be fine, we don't want any of our actors to screw up their chances of joining whichever union would be appropriate. And so it's
that's going to be an actor by actor basis too.
Exactly.
Because even like, I mean, I have to do that in the real world when I produce theater. It's like, are you equity?
Exactly.
And then you have to figure out if you have to get the equity contract, all that fun stuff.
Same.
And so that's
AMPTP, just give the writers and actors what they
Oh
want.
my God, all
It
they're
is
asking for is a
0.02% of your
wage.
profit. It is
Oh my
0.02. If you put it all together, it's not even 1% of the money you make. What the actual fuck, man?
What she said.
They ask.
Well,
Exactly.
you know, it's so funny. Like Regina, I don't know if you're dealing with this because I know you're in New York, but like everyone I know. Well, I'm in LA, so I know so many theater people who are also film and TV people, and like just every day they've been doing this. Like during the whole Hollywood Fringe Festival, they doing theater during the day, and then picketing, and it's just like I know so many professional working actors who are just
a lot of us
right now, just normal people.
Yep. A lot of people are joining the picket lines and everything. One of these days I have to head down there in solidarity.
Yeah.
A lot of AEA members will join in solidarity for sure.
And the thing is, if Equity and IATSE joined in, then,
it would be so great.
Oh my God,
I think IATSE
IATSE is close. I heard that. Yeah.
IATSE's this close.
Screw over Disney, then that's really when it starts getting.
IATSE is so close, and it's gonna be biblical if IATSE does it.
Oh, absolutely, because that's like the third tier of moneymaker, at least out here, in Callie. Like film,
sure.
TV, Disneyland.
It would be a wrap, even down
or Universal or any of them.
Florida.
Oh, definitely,
It would take
100%.
Disney World out with him.
Why else would you go to Orlando?
Technically,
I went for my equity card. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yeah.
But oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'd love to talk with you about how you got that equity card when the strike is over.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I mean, AEA ain't on strike. What you do is you go to Disney World or Disneyland and you audition for an equity show. The equity show that I was in.
I don't
My
think you're gonna
podcast
need
is
this
about
card,
Star
Jasmine.
Wars,
This is fun.
so because...
Oh, that, yeah, okay, got it.
yeah.
Got it, yep.
Oh.
Took me a minute.
Oh my god.
I love how... I know how it works. I've met Jessica Rush.
Yeah.
She did the same thing that you did.
Oh, okay, great.
But very nice. And she told me a story about being the Cinderella to Eartha Kitt's fairy godmother, and apparently one time...
My husband was in that show. My husband played the prince in that show, you guys, with Eartha Kitt. My husband played the prince in the pre-Cinderella, pre-Broadway Cinderella. He replaced what's his butt, the guy who played Aladdin, Adam Jacobs. Yeah. And I knew Ariel ages ago. God.
Oh, wow.
I
Great
know
stuff.
she's having a moment. She's having a moment. It's a very small world. It's a very small world.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Worlds Elsewhere gets big enough that we get to start looking at union stuff, we need to be able to figure out a way that we can still hire people that aren't union without fucking up everything for everyone. But that is a later problem. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going on in October. And so I'm sitting here, like, staring at my email, waiting for the responses from WGA, SAG, and AEA, going like, please, somebody email me.
I think it's gonna go on a long time. I don't know.
But no, we're literally sitting there. So Mike is lined up to direct whatever the fuck we're doing in the fall, assuming we're doing something in the fall. And then I was sitting there with him because we were talking about this, and I was like, so if we don't do a fall show, but it's over in time for winter, how do you feel about a Doll's House for December? And he's like, oh my god. Okay, so this is actually, so my wife is also Adrienne Greenberg's suit, Addie. You will see her all over Worlds Elsewhere stuff because she loves me very much, and also she fucking loves working with you all, and that's what keeps her from going completely insane.
We love you too, Addie.
We love you, Addie.
Everyone says Liz, I love you, babe. She wants an Ibsen really bad, but she doesn't want to direct because she's not really
Don't we all?
the director type. And so it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. It may not happen this year because if the strike is still going and we are struck in that, or we are solidarity struck in that way. Because again, solidarity.
Yes.
It may not happen this year, but believe me, Ibsen's on my to-do list and a bunch of other stuff, and I want to do some more international searching and find some plays that weren't written by old white men that are still old enough that we can use them. And then we also want to, again, once the strike is over, do you have something for me? Send me an email.
Yeah.
But
canon. Expanding the canon from Hedgehog.
Oh, I think I have that already.
In that case, I will send you that email.
Okay. I will check and I will drop you a note if I don't have it. But
Give it a try.
We did a workshop in 2021, a play written by Meredith Cook, who is one of our early adopters, shall we say. And that was really fun because we workshopped it, showed and performed it. We did basically a table read plus of the original version of the script for members of the repertory of the theater and some special guests and friends and partners and things like that, and got a bunch of feedback, and then I filtered through it, gave it to anonymize it, handed it off to the director. She took the playwright, she took like a month, rewrote bits of the play, gave it back to Kyle, we gave it back to the actors, and because Kyle directed that, and that's actually up, the version that we did that was the final version of that, and that's kind of, it's one act length, but it's a lot, it's vignettes, and so that's called, oh my god,
The Space Between, right?
The Space Between, because Jazz was the main character.
Yes, I was.
Jazz played one of the main characters.
Just like the Dave Matthews Band song.
I played Corey, and it was one of my favorite roles.
That was fun. Yeah, and we did for a secret little gala that we did for the first bunch of big donors that we had at the end of that first year. We did a secret little gala, and one of the things that we did was another short play by Meredith that was kind of COVID themed, but not really. And it will be up to her if we put that up publicly at some point, because that wasn't workshopped, and so it'll be up to her if we put that up. But we kind of want to. We took a hiatus. People that are familiar with World's or not familiar with World's Elsewhere, we took a hiatus at the end of last year, the second half, to kind of do some restructuring so that we could provide better support to the casts and crews of our shows. This year was meant to be just a simple, we do 3 to 4 main stage shows, we do a couple of spooky stories in December, and it'll be fine. And then, the strike made things a little more complicated, and we're rolling with the punches because that's what you do in this industry. And but we definitely want to go back to I know we're shilling for Worlds Elsewhere a little bit, Jazz. I don't want to step on any toes, but
I knew this was gonna happen, and I'm honestly okay with that because, like I said, I freaking love this company.
Because there is a high school teacher in Ohio that uses our Midsummer and our Julius Caesar as part of her teaching Shakespeare. So on the very, very unlikely chance she is listening, pull out on that one. But and we know that our Lysistrata is being used at a University of Sydney, I believe. And
oh my goodness!
Please use my Roaring Girl.
More people need to know the Roaring Girl.
Yes, yes. If you have not yet met the Roaring Girl, definitely check that one out. And that was actually our charity show last year. Normally since this is something special and outside of the direct reach of, you know, our social media, I might like give you some heads up as to what's coming, but I don't know right now. So
That's very fair.
all I know is we're gonna finish out the summer retrospective, because that's all using old footage from old shows. We may not use choreo when we get to Coriolanus when we get to it, just because the final edit of Coriolanus did come out once the strike had started, though it's using footage from pre-strike, so it's a little fuzzy. We'll figure it out when we get there, in part depending on if they ever get back to us from SAG or Equity or whatever. But like, what comes next? If there's a play in October, it will be spooky. I can tell you that. And if we do a play not in the fall, but in the winter, it will probably be Ibsen. And if we're back in business by December, we will probably be doing a couple of winter spooky. So scary stories read by members of the repertory with videos. Those may actually happen anyway, depending on how things get sliced. But who knows? And then next year is an open. I have no idea, except for the fact that we'll be doing a partnership with Fantasy Worlds Elsewhere, almost certainly in the late winter, beginning of the new year, and then we will do Shakespeare in the spring. And beyond that, who knows? So that's the World's Elsewhere pitch. And Jazz, any links you need from me, just let me know and I'll throw things at you. But
I appreciate it. But yay! All right, awesome, perfect timing, Emily. Because with that,
Let me look at the dates. Please give me them dates. Hold, please, for more information.
Regina, is this the first time I've heard you singing? How is this the first time I've heard you singing?
that's a good point.
Oh, you know. No one lets me sing because of complicated gatekeeping reasons.
Hey, as soon as I figure out how to do a musical, we're doing a goddamn musical. I just have to figure out how the hell we're gonna do it.
You bet your ass I'm gonna be auditioning for that shit
The
right
technology
there.
is something we looked into and then we stopped because it was
it's complicated.
We were gonna
You have to do it
monster
pre-recorded. You
songs.
can't do musicals live. You just can't.
Yeah. Basically what we figured out is the musical numbers have to be done live, but we're have to be done pre-recorded. But we're pretty good at stitching together pre-recorded and live stuff at this point, so it may be doable. The big issue is how we don't get dinged on YouTube, because I don't want to have to like 15 times we bought the rights to the show. It's in the public domain, goddammit. Oh my god. Will you all let me have you do Little Johnny Jones? I have the libretto. Anyway, no. Regina, what are your dates? Give us your dates.
Right, so,
This particular outtake is basically our tangent towards the Lysistrata production that I was eventually in very soon after this Midsummer production. Consider this the preview for that inevitable episode. Yeah, I have to say that, again, I was not in this particular production, but I did join in pretty quickly after. And
You were in our second show. Lysistrata was our second show.
all in Lysistrata.
I believe so.
Yes. Everyone here, well, I directed, but yes, everyone who's here right now was in Lysistrata as well, and that was a fun time because we had a little more time to focus. We had more time for that one, so we got to really like do the digging together as a group on the characters, which we missed out on in Midsummer. And watching Midsummer, you don't feel like you're missing that because everybody had such a clear vision for their character. But in Lysistrata, we made some choices that I'm not sure were necessarily within the original intention of the play. But
You mean the popcorn tin wasn't originally part of it?
I swore I saw that in the script.
I would like to say by the way, that we did Lysistrata with no fake dicks.
We did it with no phalluses whatsoever.
Which is
Go
technically
team.
because of YouTube, but also... I mean, it was because of YouTube, but also, I'm a lesbian. What do I have to do with a bunch of fake dicks? I mean, come on. And then poor Henry kept getting stuck playing an old man. He's so baby-faced. And it's not even like... He's totally not that kind of person. He does a podcast about Barbie. You guys.
He's such a sweetheart.
And then he winds up playing...
I'm 90% sure Henry is my age, if not younger than me.
Yeah,
and
around
I'm
the
like
same
a decade younger than all of you. I'm sorry for saying it.
I knew that, and it still makes me sad sometimes. That's alright. So Henry played Hermia's shitty dad in this. He played one of the shitty guys that are trying to keep the women getting into the treasury in Lysistrata. I'm pretty sure he played a third shitty old man at some point. He's gotten to do other stuff since, thankfully, but we're like, well, I'm so sorry. I keep casting you as a shitty old man. I'm sorry.
Well, the key to casting shitty old men is that you choose somebody that you know is categorically unshitty. So that you have very much assurance that if I choose you, exactly. It's like, you won't be a dick. There's no method acting here. You're just doing this for the lulz, and I appreciate that. And when you find somebody who can do that for you, you just hold on to them tightly because you never want to find the one who's not acting.
That's valid as hell. But that's why, Midsummer doesn't really have any bad guys per se, but Lysistrata, we actually did cooldowns to be like, okay, leave those shitty opinions on the floor. You can put them down now. You don't have to pretend to do that anymore. You're all done. You can be you now. And all of that.
That was really helpful for me because Lysistrata
is just anger, 100%.
Well, she's angry, but she's also she also hates women, which is very. It was a head trip. It was fascinating.
I'm telling you, my head can stands.
Doing this play was my introduction to Lysistrata properly, but of course I had heard through cultural osmosis about it, and generally I feel like culture has painted it as kind of this proto-feminist piece. So when I was going through the script to prepare for the table read, I just kept finding myself thinking, what the hell am I reading?
It's like, when does the feminism come in?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm an elder millennial, and I'd been wanting to direct Lysistrata since I was in 11th grade. And when I went back to it to start getting ready to direct it for Worlds Elsewhere, I was like, this is way less feminist and way less pacifist than I remembered it being. And so I literally was sitting there with it going, okay, how do I fix this? And part of it was the amazing modern vernacular translation that we used, done by George Theodoritis, who's a professor in Australia, who is Greek and teaches Greek theater at the college level. He does, in fact, he emailed me and he wasn't able to watch it live because of the time zones, but he watched it after, and he said, this may not have been exactly what I imagined, but it's wonderful. I love it. Because we made almost no changes to his script, except, so in the play, there are a bunch of really dated jokes to 1,500 years ago, and he replaced a couple of them with 90s era popular culture references, because that's when he did the translation, and we said to him, can we take the really, really 90s stuff and bump it up? And he said, oh, go for it. So we had a reference to dating apps. There's an actual husband and wife couple that you see, and she's teasing him but refusing to fuck him. And he's like, does anybody have, Grindr or Tinder or something? Oh, this was Harry again, by the way, playing against Laura, which was amazing. So it was Hermia playing against Demetrius for Lysistrata, which was just so funny because they're completely different characters. It's so good. And Harry definitely managed to make you think that there was something under the frame of his camera you did not want to see. It was
he was good. I was crying with laughter every time. I was like, every time I would be like, am I muted? Am I muted? That's all I need to know is, am I muted?
Rehearse.
Yeah, especially because like there was a lot of like practicing of like where to do the angles and stuff. So that like everything was pressed underneath the frame. That's what it made it look like. Which again, that's something you can do with Zoom that you couldn't do on a stage. On a stage, the way they usually do it is like balloons or things like that. They attach to a string to make them bounce. And I was like, I don't want to deal with YouTube on this, and I just don't want to deal with it. And the guys and some folks who are not guys had so much fun pretending to hide their non-existent fake dicks. It was so funny.
And then I had to grab one of them.
Oh yeah, I remember that choreography.
Oh gosh, because we did fight choreography for that one. Yeah,
we
it was
did.
so
We
good.
had a whole fight. We had a whole like Zoom fight. It was so
gosh,
the
that was
level
so
of
great.
detail we did with that.
Maybe I should cut that. But basically,
I don't think referencing your episode is necessarily a problem. I think you should.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think we might have lost Sam again. Did we lose you again?
Yeah, Jazz, I'm breaking down, so I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Jazz, I am being called into that good night.
Sorry.
Have fun. Love ya.
Love you.
It's okay. You got 2 hours of me yesterday.
That is true. That is fair. But still.
Bye.
That's a bummer, though. Fare thee well. But yeah, definitely. Did you want to say more, Hannah?
Wait, how do you click the links here? Okay, there. Go.
There we go.
I'm just trying to open up the storygraph thing, so.
I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly.
We're doing our best, folks. Like I said, neither of us are Hawaiian, unfortunately, but.
And this is by Gabrielle Ahuli. I think I'm pronouncing that right because I'm going off of Auli.
Yeah.
Find Waikong Wakao. I promise you better with scheduling that because this is exhausting. I love it.
A little messy.
I just feel bad for you having to edit all of this.
Yeah.
You know,
This might be my longest recording. I'm interested to see how that ends up translating in terms of the final product.
Children, please. We have to end this podcast before 1 a.m.
Well, that's all for now. I hope that ended up being entertaining. I really want to give a big thanks to everyone who's contributed to this podcast so far, whether you be a guest or a listener. This wacky little project has been a lot of fun so far, and I could have made it nearly this far without you all. So thank you for that. And hopefully I'll be able to release the other half of the outtakes sometime soon. Ahem. AMPTP. It's your move.